This is a program concept presented by the Small Business Council of the Greater New Haven Chamber of Commerce. And this program is all about creating expanded community outreach and education by leveraging our partners' expertise. The goals for this program are to extend the benefits beyond the morning mingle breakouts. Those are great events. The attendance, sometimes you've got a decent number of people there, but we can do better at reaching more people with more content. And the bigger umbrella goal and the mission is to grow and promote the Greater New Haven Chamber of Commerce as an expert resource provider that enhances businesses and lives in the Greater New Haven region. So there's 6 sub-goals as a part of this program. One is to provide more partner resources to more business people. 2 is to attract new potential partners through sharing our business expertise and education. Basically, bringing more value to the community can attract new partners if they see what they get from being a member. Number 3, to develop alternate delivery channels. So in addition to just the morning mingles, we could have webinars and videos and transcripts of those presentations and of other presentations as well. So we want to be able to give people content how they want it and when they want it and where they want it. Goal number 4 is to leverage social media and social sharing to expand our audience. So there's a limited number of people that get the emails from the chamber. There's a limited number of people that are looking at the chamber website. We want to really leverage on top of every partner's social media and email database of who they can reach. So imagine all the partners sharing all this content with their networks. It's huge. Number 5, create a toolkit that can be used by all the other councils to realize their missions and to further what they're up to. And number 6, we want to create an archive of all this expert material, all these presentations. So for current members, there's great value here. For future members and future partners, it's one way of thinking of this is kind of like a SCORE program. It's a curricular program, but it's all online, available, searchable, and it contains content from all of our expert partners that are currently in the chamber and that could be in the chamber in the future. So why do we need to do this? Well, we're limited right now to 5 or 6 morning mingles in a year because of the way they alternate and based on weather and based on annual events. People have to choose even at each morning mingle. If you go to a morning mingle, you can't go to both. You can only go to one or the other. So there's a limit there. Partners and guests that can't attend for whatever reasons, they get no value from the morning mingle. Of course, you lose out on the in-person networking. You can only do that in person, and that's tremendous value. But there's a lot of content value that we could share with people. There's also a limited number of our partners that are experts that get to present in a year. So there's only 5 or 6 people that get to present in the different venues. And again, the content is lost. Once it's presented, it's lost. We really need to be preserving that. So what's our proposed solution? What are we talking about doing here? Well, overall, again, the goal is to make more expert content available through more channels. Our steps to getting this done, we have a handful of steps, and some of these can be taken in parallel. They don't have to be all done in sequential order. So we want to begin right now recording and archiving presentations. So that's something we can go ahead and begin doing. We want to do a phone survey of partners for what they really want and really need. We have a whole series of topics and content areas that we've been developing the morning mingles based on, but that kind of came out of committee versus coming out of what our partners are looking for. So we're developing a phone survey to reach out to people to see what keeps them up at night, what's really worrying them, and what's the biggest value we can bring in terms of providing information and education. Well, once we have the phone survey information and responses, now we can tap our network of partners and develop the content, but based on what people are really looking for. We also need to develop and integrate all the social and email sharing tools. Again, instead of um, I might get an email about a morning mingle. Well, I can sign up and go, but is it really easy for me to share it with a lot of people, either on Facebook or through LinkedIn or Twitter or my email list? So we want to make it easier for partners to share about events and share this content that we're going to be creating. So we also need to evaluate and develop the production tools, whether we're doing videos, webinars, are we serving them up through YouTube, through the Chamber website? There's a few things that we need to look at there. So the research, what needs to be done now. Again, the big pieces are the platforms and the production. We need to develop a process and see what partners can support us in here. So the big things are this, videos and webinars. How can we do this really low cost? How can we make it really repeatable? So in terms of the developing this process, we need to have our own internal team. It could be some people on various councils. It could be some partners who aren't on the councils. There could be some chamber personnel that might want to be involved. But we want to create a description of this process. How do you create the content? Do we record it on video? Or in addition to recording the morning mingle content, this could be additional content that's created. We want to have checklists and process it to have really high quality and really repeatable, make it really easy for the presenters. We also need to have conversations with the greater chamber at large to talk about website and social media integration, because the chamber is really should be the host of all this content and the storage, the receptacle. So how are we going to be serving up video? Again, there's some technical issues. There's easy ways to do it. There's actually free ways to do it, but we need to have conversations to integrate that. Same with social sharing platforms, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, all the different ways the chamber shares their information. This content should be integrated with that. So in terms of resources, like any kind of project, any kind of program, we need time, people, and money. But we also want to have we want to make a lot of phone calls to members for this survey, which is a critical starting point. We need to have a good list to work with versus just working out of the directory. That's a possibility. But we need some experts around video and webinar recording. We need to do some research and do some learning there. The webinar platform, might make sense for the chamber to have their specific webinar platform that they get comfortable with, that they like to use. All the different councils can use it, different partners could use it. So maybe the chamber pays the annual fee, which isn't usually very much at all, but then you could maybe recoup that by saying, hey, if you want to use our webinar platform to do a webinar, we charge you $50 or $25 or some minimal amount to recoup that. Again, we need to understand what's possible and likely and the mechanisms for integrating all of this new partner content and the morning mingle presentations. How do we share that through the website of the chamber? How do we integrate that in a smart way in terms of the social sharing? And of course, we'll need some kind of real top-level blessing from the executive committee, from the muckiest of the mucky mucks here at the chamber. So again, the overall goal of this program is that we are expanding the community outreach and education that the chamber is providing, not only to its partners, but to the greater community, and by leveraging the partners' expertise. So that's the idea of the program, and that's one of the things the Small Business Council is up to.